Hello, this is the Auburn Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So feedback is immensely important. Feel free to reach out. And the best way to do that is through email. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on are Speaker, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. These are just to name a few. Also, I have a Shopify link. If you're interested in customized t-shirts, tumblers, you have suggestions or ideas or what you would like to see on my Shopify link or my Shopify shop, that is, feel free to reach out. All right, so this episode is all about the song, The Monster Mash. Here we go. All right, so my thoughts before I just jump right into everything. So, as I said before, music, it really expresses more than what mere communication or mere speech can say. It's lyrical speech, in the form of singing. But it's quite interesting with the aspects of how how everything is categorized with music. Some people see music as, it's this extended experience. Some people see music, I only like music because of this genre, this or that, and they're interested in that concept. And some people just see music, it's something I tolerate, and some people just have music and the compass of seeing it as background noise, or to associate with a party or what have you, or something to relax to, or what have you, work out, all these all the above. Now when you get into the process of music that is supposed to be centered around certain themes, holiday themes, Halloween isn't particularly at the holiday, but when it's I think the better example to give you instead of holiday theme is to say conjuring a certain images, conjuring, keeping that in mind with the Halloween theme here. And when particular artists focus their energy towards the arena of Halloween, it's one of those things that it takes a certain extra touch to get that right. And so what I mean by that is it can go south pretty fast. It can get corny, or it can get really cheesy, corny, or it can be way too dark. It's a lot of things that can mix in with these things. And so when you get into the aspects of a song like The Monster Mash, it's quite reminiscent to the success of the tenacity of detail that it takes to make that really work. And so also, I think that's in itself, it can be equated to a masterpiece. Now, I also relate this to the aspects of that can be a pretty much a deafening or a ill-fated term to say one-hit wonder. Now, my perspective about one-hit wonders is this. You know, that's really in itself a pivotal milestone, or you would have if you see it from this point of view. So some people, when you go into the aspects of particularly I'm going to focus my energy towards centering around music. They don't always get their breaks, even though they have all the talent and have everything that it takes. The industry will unfortunately say otherwise sometimes. And so when you get particular artists that have been, either they have been working towards, being a household name, or they just really came on the scene and then everything just aligned together to make stuff work, that really is a testament to the aspects of how prevalent it is to present a product. And when you get in the aspects of a song like the Monster Mash is quite evident to why this song was so popular, and so it's still, in essence, it's still notable in the aspects of songs that are related to Halloween. And I think the whole reason behind it is that it has a really good storyline. Even the aspects of using, which takes in itself a lot of talent to get that right, with using sound to also incorporate or to help support the overall theme of the song. And that really in itself is very masterful. And I relate this to the aspects of what I was talking about, and I'll send this out, talking about last year with the aspects of the song Thriller, the Michael Jackson. Well, it took a team, but hush, okay, hush, sweetie. So that the song Thriller was very, innovative for a time when you think about it, because it was in itself a short film. And not along the lines, when you hear the song, you hear all the different sound effects to amplify the aspects of everything. But when you see the music video, it really was that piece de resistance into really telling a captivating story. And so with all this said, I'm going to get on and focus into the aspects of the facts about this song. Here we go. And of course, sources will be provided for you in this episode. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to go right back. All right, it says Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Keepers is a 1962 novelty song that became a massive hit, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart on October 20th of 1962. Just in time for Halloween. So the song inspired by mashed potato dance craze and classic horror films. And so, that's really very clever when you get in the aspects of getting people have instant awareness of your song that's a good way to get instant attention. Because if you go along with understanding the aspects of familiar sounds, is prevalent to get people to say, oh, this sounds familiar, I'll listen more. See, that's that call to action to keep engaged or have more attention to something. It features a humorous narrative told by Boris Karloff impression. Boris Karloff, which was the silent film of the era of the aspects of everything that goes bump in the night, from Dracula and so forth, but particularly with Dracula. Okay, with sound effects created in the studio using methods like pulling a rusty nail from wood for a coffin, opening and bubbling water through a straw for a cauldron. It has been re-released multiple times, charting again in 1970, 73, and even re-entering the Billboard Hot 100 in 2021, while also regenerating significant annual royalties. The song was written by Bobby Boris Pickett and Lenny Caprese in about 2 hours, which was inspired by Pickett Karloff's impressions during performances. It was initially entitled Monster Twist and then Monster Mashed Potato before settling on Monster Mash. The recording featured studio musicians credited the Crypt Kickers, including Gary S. Patton, Johnny McRae, Ricky Page, and Terry Berg, with Mel Taylor sometimes credited as the drummer. The song was banned in BBC in 1962 for being too morbid, but was later performed on their television program Jukebox Jury. So, it's been covered by numerous artists, including the Beach Boys, the Mischiefs, and Vincent Price. And Vincent Price is quite interesting with the aspects. And I'm going to relay this to what I'm going to talk about on Wednesday with the aspects of the evolution of horror and, what is perceived about how what is scary and the aspects or the arena of these films. And it's quite interesting where Vincent Price is credited for, turning that point with B footage as far as wacky, zany, sort of scientific imagery when it comes to the aspects of the other world or unknown or so forth is, quite cheesy. But when Vincent Price came on the scene, he was pushing it to more macabre. And then, going back to the aspects of Rod Serling, with shows like initially with the Twilight Zone and then expanding out to Night Gallery. Well, particularly with the Twilight Zone, it was very interesting to the aspects. And I also accredited to Alfred Hitchcock, those powerhouses there. These two men were really fixing their focus on the aspects of thriller and suspense. And so, that's quite interesting how these all meld together. And with the aspects of making this song, even more popular and even more prevalent into the grand scheme of pop culture. All right, so it has been covered by numerous artists, including, like I said, I'm sorry. And stop, baby, no, hold on, sweetie. Okay, hold on, sweetie. I see. Thank you. Hold on just a minute. Okay, and then going back to what I was saying, okay. All right, so going back, says that it was also featured in films like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and a TV show such as Stranger Things and also The Simpsons. So Pickett released several sequels and reworkings, including Monsters Holiday, Monster Rap, and an environmental protest version like Monster Slash in 2004. As of 2023, the song was generating approximately $1 million annually in royalties, and it remains a staple for Halloween celebrations. Unfortunately, Bobby Pickett died in 2007 from leukemia. It's considered this song's success he considered the song's success a blessing, stating it paid his rent for decades, which is also really a good attitude with the aspects of how that can seeing things as that it's a blessing instead of I'm a curse, and then being opposed to something that made you notable and famous. Why you should be appreciative that brought you so much success, and even to the most obtained degree that it brought so much success to your life that you don't have the worry or strain of being able to pay for essential things where like rent or like a mortgage and so forth. It goes into the aspects I equated to this. So there's a saying in theater that says there's no small roles, there's only small actors. That's really apropos to the mental state that can relate to a lot of aspects in life. So, in this case, it's very true. So, whatever success you get, you should see it as a blessing instead of, instead of not being appreciative of anything and say, it's never enough. Because when you get into that mental state of nothing is ever enough, then what is? And then, there's nothing but doom and gloom from there. But, I really appreciate when people have that attitude. All right, so I'm going to get into a little bit more about this song here. So, it says that Pickett and Cabrezi recorded Monster Mash with an all-star band accredited to what this all-star band was the Crypt Kickers, including pianist Lennon Russell and the Ventures drummer Mel Taylor. In the U.S., it was released through producer Gary S. Patton at Carpax label, while London Records issued it in the U.K. Seeing the light of day in the autumn of '62, Monster Mash seemed the ideal Halloween single. But to extend out what I was saying about in Britain with the BBC, they thought it spooked them too bad to where they have to ban it because they seen it as morbid. And that's quite interesting, the aspects of that with how things are perceived internationally. And then to itself, that gives it more power, staying power to something. Because if somebody said, this is too much, so let's ban it, without actually understanding what's going on with the premise of it, which in this case, which is, with that aspects of perspective. And, it taps into that primitive notion of, nobody's going to tell me, no governmental pool or government media source is going to tell me what to do. I'm going to want to listen to it even more. And so, it's one of those things. Are they doing that to help or what? You got to think about that. All right, so it says that inevitably the band only added to the frisson of danger surrounding Monster Mash, which in itself helped form mashed potato style dancing involving Frankenstein-esque monster gestures in the top North American Billboard charts in time for Halloween, which was again in '62. So the BBC stood firm, but were forced to relent when this enduring graveyard smash got a second jolt from its mad scientists, electroids, and shot up to number 3 in the UK in '73. All right, so I would like to know what you all think about the aspects of this song and this episode. Feel free to reach out. So this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. Bye-bye for now.